And then for our 2026 Liechtenstein national team update, and a newsworthy episode it is today as well. We've got a 2026 World Cup update. No Liechtenstein there, of course. Not yet anyway. Then our Nations League campaign as we venture into Division C. We've got the draw for the Euro 2028 qualifiers, and news of an FC Vaduz player who's decided to take up Liechtensteiner nationality with a view to donning the shirt. But it's not who you might expect. Speaking of donning the shirt, Liechtenstein 2022 away picked it up in the recent classic football shirt sale. So what new shirts have you picked up recently? Let us know in the comments. But anyway, on to the year that was 2026 with Liechtenstein. We started with a couple of spring friendlies away to Lithuania and Montenegro. Now, if I'm honest, I was expecting a win over Lithuania and perhaps a draw away to Montenegro. But we got exactly the opposite, a dour goalless affair in Kaunas and a surprise 3-2 victory in Podgorica. We did not play any friendlies in June as the world's eyes turned to North America. Both the Netherlands, topping Group C, and Switzerland, who just pipped us to World Cup qualification, of course, got through their groups, the Swiss beating Brazil to top spot in Group P. Neither side would go any further than the round of 32, though, as Netherlands lost a shootout to Argentina, and Italy sent Switzerland home. The Italians then going all the way and beating England in the final. But enough of that World Cup rubbish. We all know the real international action lies in the depths of the UEFA Nations League Division C. We had been placed in a group with Belarus, Cyprus and Hungary. The Hungarians were, of course, clear favourites for the group, ranked 55th in the world and with several household names at some of Europe's top clubs. But Belarus ranked just inside the world top 100, and Cyprus 117th. Well, if we can channel the performance we put in against Montenegro, we can perhaps avoid bottom spot. Let me know where you think we'll finish down in the comments. Our campaign started with a home fixture against Belarus, a fantastic opportunity to set the tone for the group and announce ourselves with a significant win. Yeah, and of course it was the dullest of 0-0 draws. And our toughest game of the entire group would come up next as we travelled to Budapest. Not the best of starts as we fell behind to this Salai header, but by half-time we were level with a header of our own from Hassler. Even better in the second half as Burmester caught the entire home defence out to give us the lead. But Hungary's response was swift and devastating. First, Mester levelling the scores, and then Salai putting them back in the lead. And 3-2 was how it would finish. So much like against North Macedonia and Greece in World Cup qualifying, we were so close to claiming a big scalp. We'll get one eventually. But for now, after 2 games, we had to settle for just a solitary point on the board. But with Cyprus at home coming up next in October, we had a chance to get a win. And it was the products of the FC Vaduz youth team who would deliver it. First, a couple of names that might not be familiar yet, as 17-year-old Pius Marxer opened the scoring from a free kick, and then 18-year-old Ulmer added a second. Kraus had to get on the score sheet as well, of course, following up with a tap-in after his initial shot was blocked. And for number 4, Orwang, also of FC Vaduz, stole the ball and fed it to Ballesteros. Cyprus fired in a consolation in injury time, but we got all 3 points. And next we would face Belarus in the neutral venue of Poland. Would we be able to break down their defence this time? Well, yes, just about, but we had to work for it as first of all, Kraus hit the post, and then put the ball in the back of the net, only to be called back for offside. Kraus then had another great chance which was blocked, but luckily Hassler was alert to the rebound. Belarus didn't really produce anything until the 88th minute when they also put the ball in the back of the net. But luckily, this was also called back for offside, and we held on for the win. Luckily, not paying the price for our wayward shooting on the night. And so, with 2 games remaining, we sat second in the group, 5 points behind leaders Hungary, and also now guaranteed to finish at least third. And with Hungary at home next, a win would close that gap to 2 points and make for a very interesting final round of matches. So let's skip ahead and find out how we did. As happened in the first game, we fell prey to an early goal Boller driving home after we failed to deal with a corner. But also, as in the first game, Kraus had us level before half-time after some great teamwork to open up the left flank. Alas, Hungary had Szoboszlai up front, and he would restore their lead early in the second half, and then extend it after we foolishly gave away a penalty. We got a penalty of our own after Alwang was tripped. Veteran Sandro Weiser stepping up to give us a glimmer of hope, but it wasn't our night as Salai scored for the visitors in stoppage time, meaning we lost 4-2. So the final game was something of a dead rubber, and we finished strongly with a 4-0 victory in Cyprus, securing ourselves second place in the table. So pretty good for our first outing in Division C, even if I do say so myself. And if you made a prediction earlier, how accurate was it? Go back to the comments and check. So what next for Liechtenstein, who've now broken into the world top 170? Well, we wouldn't have to wait long as the draw for Euro 2028 qualifying was made. Coming out of the pot of fourth seeds, we got the easiest draw in the world as we were paired with San Marino. But we then got one of the toughest nations from pot 3, Ireland. Ukraine would join us out of pot 2, and finally our top seed side was Belgium. I think qualification for a major tournament is going to have to wait another cycle. But oh yeah, one more thing before I forget. The FC Vaduz player who is taking up Liechtensteiner nationality. Well, it wasn't one of our South American contingents, with the likes of Edu and Cristiano still being about 18 months off. It was instead a Swiss member of the squad, Fabio Fair. Now, while he has taken up citizenship at this point, he still needs to wait another 166 days before he can be selected. So probably not quite in time for this June doubleheader with Ukraine, but we should have him eligible by the time of those September qualifiers against Belgium and Ireland. But before we get there, it's time to catch up on FC Vaduz's latest Europa League campaign.